And I've probably kind of spoiled myself because now I am used to this PC and its capabilities. I'm probably not going to be happy when games are using more and more powerful systems as their recommended build. I'm probably going to want the recommended build from here on in. Okay. So, we now have... That field's ready to harvest already? Oh, crying out loud. Thought I was done with this. Okay, that field's ready to go. I do not have to harvest it. I could look for a field 7 fertilizing. 7,000. Any more fertilizing? Field 8 fertilizing. Well, since I've got the fertilizer slapped on the back of this thing, oh, field 6 as well. 6, 7 and 8. 6, 7, 8. Let's do 7 first, it's the closest. Okay then. So we said field 7. And the nice thing about doing contracts is you don't have to refit with care wheels. Ground. Something I've noticed about this map is it's really not as flat as it looks. I'm running a sprayer with the boom on the lowest setting. You can ground it out quite frequently. Yeah, and going back to what Hail Team's saying, it's yes. When it comes to contracts, it's unless you have an ulterior motive, it really is the time it takes. And so, yeah, you can get a potato harvesting contract for 53,000, or you can get a potato planting contract for silly money as well. Although with the potato planting contract, you're going to spend a lot of money on seed, unless you have spare potatoes lying around that you can use in this planter. But it's the time it takes. I tend to, obviously I prefer to use my own equipment, so I've got a 4-meter seeder. So it's going to take me a while to seed a big field with a 4-meter seeder. So am I going to borrow their equipment? And if I borrow their equipment, I might get it done quicker, but I'm not going to get as big a payout. I think with a fertilizer, this is 24 meters plus. I'm not, I'm not actually certain how wide this is. But it's a basic model and it's very wide, so it covers ground very quickly. I can drive around at 7 miles an hour and spread this stuff, so I'm not on this field very long. So the time it takes is very quick. If you're poor and can't afford the fertilizer, then harvesting's a good way to start, seed your money, if you like. I don't have to outlay on anything, I just have to, use my equipment, harvest the field, and sell the stuff. And I get a bonus if I sell more than the stuff that they want sold. Do that a few times and then you can do the fast contracts, and it doesn't matter that it costs you money to buy fertilizer because you can do the job so quickly. And I think that's probably what we're going to do, is we'll fertilize this field 6 and 8. That'll make us about 22, about 22,000, I think. And that makes me more comfortable because that'll put us on about $30,000. I do not like having no money. The other thing you can do with a fertilizing contract is, if you've got enough cows, you can do this naturally. Get yourself a manure spreader or a slurry tank spreader, and it doesn't cost you anything to fertilize a field. One of the things I do on Lawfolds, just on my fields, I use about 800,000 litres of digestate, which is a full tank, and probably another 150,000 litres of slurry, 150,000 litres of manure to fertilise every field once that I own. Obviously that saves a lot of money when you consider how much liquid and solid fertilizer ends up costing you. I need to change, oops, let's drive to the end of the field, excuse me a minute. I will say hi to whoever just joined us, whoops. I will, oops. It dark mode, turn off dark mode, there we go. Scott, hi Scott. Sorry, my eyes are old, it's late in the day and I find it difficult to focus, and I generally run in dark mode so I can read the white text, and I can see the pink and the green names, but the red and the blue ones dark on dark, so I can't read the letters very well. So, Scott, on my screen you're blue, very dark blue. But hello and welcome. How are you today? Coming up to 9 o'clock. I wasn't thinking. I could have just started the harvester on a worker while I do this. I might do that when this field's finished. It's that way I'm making my money and getting some money from contracts as well. That didn't work. What button did I push? Don't know. There we go. Yeah, I know. There we go. Be happy. More than half the tank. 8 smaller, so we'll do that next. Six is going to be a problem because I don't have enough fertilizer on hand to do that. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay, field 8 is the next one. I will accept the contract there. And we'll fold that up. Now, is that free upgrades or is that free labour on upgrades? Okay, let's jump out to the harvester. Yeah, now this was the other mod that came out the same day as this map. Kind of happy I waited until this map came out because I haven't seen anybody else on a stream or a YouTube video actually use this harvester. As they're starting out, they're either using the Bison or they're using the old New Holland. Okay, we can unfold that. We can get going with that. Right, yeah. You still have to pay for the parts. Now, frankly, unless it's a major gutting of the system, I'm probably inclined to do my own upgrades myself. Push the right button. That one there. Yeah, and obviously the other problem with having Digital Storm do the upgrades on my PC is I have to send the PC out to them, and they have to test all the bits they're going to put in it, and they're going to have to assemble it, they're going to have to test the assembled PC, and then they're going to have to ship it back to me. I'm likely to be without a PC for a month, and because I work from home and I'm a computer programmer, I kind of need a PC on my desk that I can work with. Oh, achievement! Yay! 10 hectares of something. I think that's harvesting. Well, yeah, but so's my labour when I'm upgrading my PC. Crow could be sick. I presume they're crows that are on the field. They look like crows. I'm not going to replace all the components in my PC at the same time. Although if I do decide this is the PC I'm keeping and it's going to get progressive upgrades, then I wouldn't rule out over a 10-year period replacing absolutely everything in the PC. As I said, I did that with my first PC. It finished life with an AMD K7 processor in it, having had a Pentium processor in it and an old 486 Intel processor in it. The hard drives got upgraded every few years. I would buy a new bigger hard drive, format that, install the operating system, get the old hard drive, install that as a slave for data, and then I would either install everything or copy stuff over from the old hard drive onto the new one and then use the old hard drive as a data storage. And then obviously the next time I upgraded my PC, I would copy everything off the data storage onto the C drive and install the new hard drive as the C drive, and then put the old C drive back in as the D drive. And that happened about 4 or 5 times before I moved out of England and abandoned that PC. My parents used it for about 5 or 6 years after I left. Right. Yeah, and I mean this one is, you know, it has an awful lot of fans on it, but it's still basic air-cooled system. But you don't need a power gaming system when, you know, all you're playing is Farm Sim or World of Warships or American or European truck simulators. None of the games I play are particularly taxing, and I'm getting old and I really don't need to be playing first person shooters. Yeah. I've done the crazy running around and doing stuff when I was a kid. I played on a Quasar League. Quasar is an Australian version of laser tag, which they imported into the UK, and so I played a couple of seasons there with a team. Our team actually won one season. But I was probably the oldest person on the team and not incredibly fit. But it was fun. Nowadays I could not play a computer first-person shooter. I have trouble playing World of Tanks. World of Warships is about my speed because it's kind of a sedate game. You can make big mistakes, but you get to drive into your big mistakes and realise you've made a big mistake all while you're doing it. Like drifting out of smoke in a British light cruiser in front of a battleship. Sort of, yeah, I should have started slowing down a lot sooner, but oh well. Now give me about 20 seconds, I will be dead when the battleship's reloaded his guns and realise I'm sitting here. Now, if I ever did need to upgrade a PC to a point where it did need liquid cooling, then yeah, you can be sure the PC is going back to Digital Storm to upgrade, because I'm not doing that thing. The one thing I have learned is liquid and electrics don't go too well together unless you know what you're doing, and I ain't a plumber and I ain't an electrician, so I'll let a professional deal with that. But then there's really, oops, there we go. As far as I'm concerned, there's really nothing wrong with the frame rate I'm getting at the moment. I am not a full-time streamer, no. Hold up. I am a computer programmer, and I work for a larger corporation on their mainframe systems, programming business applications, and that's my day job. And I come home in the evening to relax. And so this is me relaxing, and I had considered either streaming or YouTube, but my previous PC was barely adequate to play games, let alone doing anything extra. So once I bought this PC, I decided I would step out and stream what I was playing, which effectively is me sharing with you guys what I'm doing. But yes, I work from home, and that was formerly about 3 years ago. I was having a lot of medical issues, so much so I could not drive myself anywhere safely. So the choice was either my wife was driving me everywhere, and I was still needing, I still needed to take a nap during the day. And so my boss kindly said, would it help if you worked from home? So I said yes. And so I work from home. But I don't stream all day every day. I have a set schedule, which is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday nights, and Saturday morning. I may stream at other times, especially during holidays, but my may stream at other times is not a guarantee on any given day, on any given week. And I am a licensed foster parent, which means that if we have foster kids in the house, their needs need to take precedence over streaming. What am I doing? That. Fortunately, that tank there will fit in the back of this. Back. And I'm not close enough. Much as maybe I would like to stream more, it's really fitting stuff in to my day. Obviously, I'm working the normal hours of the day of the week. Yeah, while my boss allows me to work from home, he does expect me to be working for 8 hours a day. However, you know, after sort of 6 o'clock in the evening, obviously I need to eat. Occasionally I need to do other things, which is why my Tuesday stream is later in the day than Monday, Thursday and Friday, because we have something that goes on early Tuesday evenings. I stream on Saturday mornings because my wife likes to lie in on Saturday mornings, and I'm still an early riser, so it's something I can do, but eventually on Saturday I have to go out shopping or other chores, and so I can only stream for so long. As always, it's fitting in your streaming life with everything else. I don't make... Since I'm just starting out, this is not something I could do as a profession. The income is not there right now. And so, you know, my day job pays for my rent, my electricity bill, my internet bill, and my hardware. Now, I would like to get to the point, maybe, you know, in a reasonable length of time, where Twitch is paying for any new games I get, DLC or what have you. So effectively this is a hobby at the moment. My hobby becomes self-funding. But I understand, and I have watched people who will stream 24 hours a day, or sorry, maybe 8 hours a day every day of the week, and they make a good living out of it, and they've decided that is their full-time job, and good on them. And maybe one day I will get to that point too, but it's not there right now. So yes, maybe I would like to stream more, but I do not have the time of day to be able to fit that in right this minute and still pay all the bills. Now again, maybe in about 15 years time, when I get to retirement age, this could become a full-time thing, because I won't have a job to go to during the daytime. And I'll have a pension or equivalent. Okay, harvester, where's your pipe there? That's good. Looks like this might fit in two loads. What's going on? Have I got that too low? Oh, I got that too low. Brilliant. Oh, that's a lot of straw. Okay, he's going to go away, so I can turn that off and go back to this guy. Don't think I did the the Field 6 contract. Let's do that. I don't have any of my own kids, no. Now, some of our former foster kids we have visit approximately every third weekend. They are in the range of 2 to 8, and we've had the elder two for approximately 3 years of their lives, and the youngest one for over a year. So he's still at the point where we've had him for longer than his mother's had him for, and he's the only dad I'm the only dad he's known, and he still calls my wife mom. The elder kid, obviously, he's been with his mum for a lot longer, so he doesn't see us as mum and dad. But since mum's a single mother and working and bringing up 4 kids, we only actually dealt with 3 of them. Between us, we felt that it was good to have my wife and I still in their lives. So they come over and visit every weekend. We're like, it's almost like we're surrogate grandparents. We get to have them for a day or two, and then we give them back to mum to deal with for most of the time. Yeah, I may look into that. I'll probably get back to the store again after doing this field, because this is going to wipe out this tank, I think. No, Arthur has 6 kids and they're all by his ex. Simone has 2 kids. So when they get around to getting married and living in the same house, they'll have 8 kids between them to look after. Yeah, being a foster parent has been rewarding. Although some of the kids you get through are trying at times. And the older they are when they get into the system, it's kind of the more resentful they are, because obviously they want to be with their parent. Even if their parent has treated them badly, they want to be with their parent. And these strange people have come, they've taken them away from mum, and they've put them with these other strange people. And it's a challenge for them, and they rebel against that. Nobody is the. I don't think there is a satisfactory answer you can give a child as to why they're not with mum. Ever. And they're looking for a satisfactory answer, and it's not something you can really give them. But the really young ones, I mean, like the 2-year-old, he has no concept of anything. And when we got him, he cried, he ate, he pooped, and he slept, and that was his life. And so as he became aware of his surroundings, there's my wife and there's me, and we're there, and we change his diaper, and we feed him, and we lay him down to go to sleep, and he's comfortable with that. And he really wasn't happy when the judge says, "Hey, you get to go and live with your mum." And he's like, "Who is this strange woman? I don't know her." And so that's traumatic for him. But he's now happy enough to be with her, and he's happy enough to see my wife and I. And he's used to that in his life because he never knew anything different. The middle child, she's, she was neglected, and so when she came in to live with us, she sort of came to accept, okay, we're adults that, she would open up to any adult that she saw. We'd walk around the store and she would say hi to absolutely everybody in the store because they were adults. And so that obviously meant something to her. I'm not sure what. But after 2-3 months with us, she came to accept that we're around, we provide food, we provide shelter. She can play and amuse herself, and we're around. And at that point she started being less open with other people. She didn't feel the need to connect to everybody she met. She's still a friendly person. She'll still talk to anybody, but she doesn't go out of her way to say hi to every stranger she sees. But she's still a scavenger. If you leave food lying around, she picks it up and eats it. And if you don't leave food lying around, she'll climb up on kitchen counters and get the food out the cupboards because for the first 2 years of her life, she wasn't getting regularly fed by her parents. And she had to get her own food, usually candy or snacks. So she has a very sweet tooth, and she forages for food in the kitchen, and she's probably going to do that for most of her life now. But because she didn't know different, she's not really rebelled against her situation. The boy, yes, the elder boy, he does. I don't know. I know a number of people who have met online and got married and made it successful. I'm one of them. Former colleague who who was my supervisor at one point, got married to his wife who lives in Ohio. About 7 years after I got married, I think. And his new marriage works. I'm not saying Arthur can't make this work. But it's really not for me to provide commentary on whether I think it could or not, or any, it's not something I'm getting involved in. It's not my relationship. So yes, it can work if you put the effort in, but that's like any marriage. If you get married and then, that's great tank nearly full. If you get married and don't put in any time on that, it will fall apart. And that's not Arthur's fault, from what I gather of his first marriage. His wife wasn't putting the time in, or his ex wasn't putting the time in. He wanted to be married. I'm sure if she turned her life around, he'd take her back, because I think he still loves her, but he's come to accept that she's not going to change, and he's beaten his head against a wall if he thinks he's getting that's ever going to work out. So he does need to look for someone else. I haven't really been paying enough attention to say, Simone's a good fit or Simone's a bad fit. And that's not really it's not for me to get involved in. So we'll leave it at that. There we go. Done. Fold that up and collect money. Yay, I like money. And that is all of the fertilizing contracts done. Yay. So, was that about 3 contracts in 45 minutes, and we've made about $18,000. That's not bad. Although we are spending money at the moment on a contract, on a worker. I think internet relationships are faster moving, and from my experience, the dating, if you want to call it that, is far more intense, because you're not going out to movies, you're not going out to restaurants, you're spending time with each other. and that's all you're doing. And so whereas when you're dating someone face to face, there's distractions, there's other things going on. When you're dating someone online, that's not so much the case. And so yes, it's very intense. You get to know someone very quickly. And so I don't think it's outside the realms of, they're not moving fast. In fact, they're moving quite leisurely. Yeah, my former colleague, took him a few years to get over here and get married. I am done with that tractor. You are done. Let's extend that. As far as the kids are concerned, well, that's always going to be a thing. Kids get used to what they get used to, and they don't particularly like change. I mean, we had the episode over Christmas where Violet's kicking up a stink because she doesn't want to share her room with anyone. Well, you got 6 kids in the house, the eldest 2 are out, or pretty much out. And so, she's not going to be happy sharing her room with someone else. And, understandable. She's also probably not going to be happy sharing her dad with someone else either. But it's something she's going to have to do. Okay, we have oats, 12,000 litres. Where are we going with these things? Oh, well, it's not a particularly good price. Bakery. Unfortunately, I don't have anywhere to put them. So we're going to take these down to the bakery. And let's put the lid on. And thanks for the cheers again. So I have a feeling that there is still more oats in that harvester, which is a pain because there's not many. Now, okay. From what I understand, he does not have a lot of control on when that happens. The problem is they're dealing with American immigration. Step 1, they have to meet each other in person. Once they have met each other in person, he has to submit paperwork to apply for a fiancé visa for Simone. And she then has to submit to various interviews and tests and well, interviews and fill in paperwork and get medical reports and stuff like that while she's in England, and submit that all to the American consulate embassy. Now that can take time. The embassy does not move quickly. However, at the point that they say your application has been approved, she pretty much has to drop everything and move to the States. Now, when my friend did it, I believe he had 6 months. No. I can't remember. I can't remember if it was 9 or 12 months, but he basically had a set amount of time to clean up his business in the UK and move to America. So sell your house, sell your car, sell your bikes, sell anything else you've got, buy tickets to America and move, quit your job, etc., etc. And once you have done that and moved to America, you have 6 months to get married. Whoa, okay. As soon as you get married, you have to submit the paperwork to turn your fiancé visa into a permanent resident green card. And that's pretty much the next day after you get married. Now, it's not quite that fast, but you really need to step on it. My friend nearly got himself deported because he didn't fill out that paperwork in a timely manner. And he found out he needed to submit that paperwork, and he pretty much submitted it the day before his visa would have expired. And yeah, he was basically being told, if you don't get this done on time, you're leaving the country. It doesn't matter that you're married. So, yeah, there are hoops that you have to jump through. Unfortunately, you don't know when those hoops are going to need to be jumped through until immigration starts the clock. And there isn't a timeline to that. Now, I believe the average is from the point where, so if they meet in February, 13,000, and they submit the paperwork as soon as Simone gets back to the UK, it's typically about 14 months from when they receive the paperwork. But it could be quicker, and it could take longer. And you don't know. So they could say, okay, it's 14 months, which puts you to April 2020. May, June, July, August, September, October. Which means at the latest they can get married in October 2020. Or her visa would expire. Or whatever. Yeah, it's... Yes. Well, there's American embassy in pretty much any country you go to. Except maybe Iran and Cuba. But the American embassy in the UK is in London. Right by Mayfair. Which is the most expensive property in Monopoly if you play the UK version. And I have been there too, because I had to apply for a green card